Hello and welcome to another episode of Iron Port. This program is proudly brought to you by Serene Insurance, Gold Company Limited, the Ghana Revenue Authority, Ghana Link, who are the operators of the Integrated Customs Management System, and Meridian Port Services. Our proud media partner is the Business and Financial Times. Iron Port is also powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. This week we are continuing with our subject on auctions, and we had in the studios Justice Ajahim, who is supervisor at the Vehicle Valuation Unit, as well as Nana Furiata, who is the acting president of QBAC. Here's a report.
A supervisor at the Vehicle Valuation Unit at the Customs Technical Services Bureau of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Justice Yajiyimi, has debunked assertions that the customs auction process is shrouded in secrecy. Discussing the evolution of the customs auction regime in Ghana on Iron Port, the customs official stated that the auction regime follows a transparent, standard operating procedure.
Why they say there's no transparency, I can't tell, because the standard operating procedures are known to all of us. And we don't know how they are supposed to operate. So in the institution, if you are aggrieved, there are channels for going through to seek redress. Yes, and they all know they've been submitting petitions to Commissioner's office for redress. So as to why they say there's no transparency.
This follows the call for transparency and fairness to be exercised within the auction process by the chairman of the Tema chapter of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, Forwarder Johnny Mante, and the acting president of the Customs Brokers Association Ghana, Nana Furiata.
Notwithstanding the SOPs he has elaborated, there's a lot of underhand dealings that occur in this area. People come in the name of all kinds of people working for national security. They have been allowed to, they've been instructed to take certain things. They actually come with letters. There are too many of them.
What we are saying is that we want some clarity within the space in terms of if I have paid my cargo and I've gone and I've restoration on the cargo, what is the process that I go through? What is in the law, the 891, is not what is pertaining today. So I think it's important that we look at this subject critically and ensure that people who have no business in the port in terms of cargo that has overstayed, they don't come near it. There is a process for restoration. You write to customs restores the container for you. You go to the port, the container is not there, which means that there was an allocation that was done without customs either knowing, because the understanding we have is that once the containers are gazetted, it goes to this committee and they look through the UCL list and then they pick the 70%. Now I have a container. I write a letter to customs and say, look, because of A, B, and C, I would want this container back. The customs says, okay, well, are you ready with the duty plus all the other? He says yes. Go and pay and collect your cargo. You go to the port, you don't find where do we find? How do we fix that jigsaw puzzle where people continue to go to the port after paying taxes and yet don't find their container? How do we solve that problem?
They remained adamant that the ongoing operations of a certain syndicate circumvent the proper auction process, and this has caused confusion among importers and agents at the nation's ports.
There's a cabal that operates within the port community. And then they go for high-value goods, call it the rice, the sugar, the oil, the cloth from China and things like that. And by the 14 days, they know which ones they have targeted. And before you know, there's a simple transfer. And people have, paid for it. We've had issues. There are some of them still under investigation, where containers that are supposed to be at State Warehouse have been opened at Amaris Terminal, sometimes Atlas. And there are even instances where the importers have managed at the last minute to pay for the duties, but there are accrued rent and things that they have to pay for. And before you could say Jack, the containers are nowhere to be found.
Again, the issue of where you have people who have paid their duties, okay? They've been granted letters. That's the first offer privilege. You go to the port and the cargo is not there. It is not the fault will not come from customs, because where cargo is gazetted, it is not just customs that does the allocation, the so-called allocation. There is a committee somewhere that does those allocations. So that's why you have confusion always within the port. Today, if you go to the courts, the customs is being pulled left, right, and center by people who have actually paid their duties and went to the port and could not find their cargo.
The customs official, on the other hand, explained that allocations of uncleared cargoes are permissible by law.
If you look at the 891, 53, it's any other method. It's fault there. If you go even the 93, look at section 93 with vehicles. Apart from the auction, it mentions allocation, and then it also mentions any other method. So it means any other method can be used, yes, by the commissioner or commissioner general, yes. Right. So I cannot sit here and say there's a cabal. What we should have at the back of our minds is if they are perishable goods, they can be given out at any time. Right. Yes, and for perishable goods, it doesn't have to go through this normal process of getting them gazetted. No, it doesn't happen.
He therefore urged importers and their agents to get accustomed to the customs laws pertaining auctions.
You let the person know the rules on the ground. Yeah. The vessel has come. You have 7 days to clear, now 14. If you don't, this is what will happen afterwards. So that the person will have it at the back of the mind that this consignment, if I don't get the money to clear it in time, it will be taken away. Because that is, no, customs is not interested in just taking away people's consignments.
Iron Port returns after this break.
Every now and again, GOIL makes good things happen. This time, GOIL has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with GOIL Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. GOIL has that sorted. GOIL, good energy.
Taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, streetlights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risks Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance Motor Policy. Currently, my goods are on the IC, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance. Oh, Ajima, tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Do you know, effective 9th May 2022, no truck or trailer that has not registered with the port and undergone the port load safety process with a valid RFID tag would be allowed into the port and terminals to carry cargo. To register, pick a form at the monitoring department, Port of Tema, or at the JAP2 Ghana office, or call 059 3866 358 or 059 32 to get started. Registration is renewable yearly, so all trucks already registered are advised to renew now if expired. Register your truck before the 9th of May 2022 to avoid being denied entry at the port gate. Let's all cooperate for a safe and secured environment for our port operations.
You welcome back from the break. Now, news and activities happening within the port and maritime industry next.
The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has marked the World Day for Safety and Health at Work 2022 to enhance safety awareness and responsibility for all port workers. GPHA joined the rest of the world to mark this annual celebration under the theme Act Together to build a positive safety and health culture. Speakers on the day underscored the need to strictly adhere to standard safety practices. Staff of GPHA were urged to adopt a safety culture at all times.
You need to be aware of your environment, the risk involved in whatever you're doing, the mitigations involved. That's why we have work instructions, we have your HERA, we have your EA. Please do not ignore them.
If you are not healthy, you can't work. If you don't work, GPHA is spending money on you. The other staff are overworking, or GPH will have to employ extra hands to help. So it has a very, very big impact, negative impact on the authority and on others. It's impertinent that we also bring about the need to have some rest hour regime. And I'm glad we have members from the dock labor companies in here. For corporate workers, we all know we are regimented. You have a work program. If it is 8 to 5, you have to go. If you're on a shift schedule, you go about it. But what is important is that the symbiosis, the workers from the other end, that we work to activate the production end, also need to have a similar kind of rest. Because if we are unable to do that, the repercussions become grave for the corporate interest.
The Fire and Safety Manager at the Port of Tema, Edward Heyman, praised management of the authority for always supporting his outfit in safety measures.
We are very fortunate. In the Port of Tema, all safety requests being made and justified, management provided.
The Director of Port Tema, Sandro Opoku, admonished port workers to take advantage of the investments made by the authority to enhance safety among workers.
If the workers of the port are not healthy or the environment of the port is not safe, certainly we all lose out. And so we all have a duty, a responsibility to stop injuries and deaths at our workplaces.
The Danish ambassador to Ghana, Tom Noren, has revealed that the frigate that was deployed by the Danish government to the Gulf of Guinea to combat piracy, this, according to him, is due to the ongoing Russian-Ukraine war. The Danish ambassador made this disclosure at a workshop hosted by SEMLOS Africa, has been withdrawn.
But due to the tensions arising in my own neighborhood back home in Eastern Europe, after the brutal Russian attacks on Ukraine, that led to a decision by my government to withdraw the frigate a little ahead of time to become part of the NATO standing force, which is in a high state of readiness.
According to him, the frigate, despite its short stay in the Gulf of Guinea, made significant impact in the fight against piracy.
The Navy, the frigate presence here, was indeed so robust that it did make a difference. It did send a clear signal to the criminals, the pirates, that piracy is not the way ahead.
Various security experts and stakeholders in the maritime industry deliberated on how to tackle maritime insecurity and also developed the blue economy of Ghana as part of the Abridged project. The Abridged project is a collaboration between the Center for Maritime Law and Security, SEMLAWS Africa, the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, the University of Copenhagen, University of Ghana, Republic of Denmark, and the Safe Seas Network on Maritime Security. Abridged is funded by the Danish Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Speaker of Parliament, in a speech read on his behalf by the MP of Adaklu, Honorable Kwame Agboja, stressed the need for capacity building of Parliament in the maritime security and governance to enable them to effectively exercise their oversight responsibilities.
We need to build the capacity of members of Parliament Select Committee on Defense and Interior, Constitutional and Parliamentary Affairs, Food and Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs, Road and Transport effectively perform their functions.
As part of measures to improve processing of documents at the port, the Ghana Shippers Authority has partnered the Food and Drugs Authority to sensitize shippers on ways to address import permit application challenges. The move is part of efforts to tackle the growing non-tariff barriers as well as support trade facilitation. The Tema branch manager of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Charles Darling, said more efforts will be put in to deal with the development as a means to support the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which frowns on non-tariff barriers. He noted that a United Nations Conference on Trade and Development report suggests that African countries gain $20 billion in GDP growth by tackling non-tariff barriers at the continental level.
Ghana, and for that matter, shippers, cannot allow simple processing of documents or obtaining permit and under regulatory requirement from other institutions to add to the non-tariff barriers, which may have the potential to prevent the hard-working importers and exporters from meeting deadline of delivery cargo due to simple processing of registration and permit acquisition.
The Deputy Chief Executive Officer in charge of technical operations at the FDA, Equia Amate, said stakeholders must work hard to ensure that the efforts being put into trade facilitation yield results. She said whilst the FDA takes steps to facilitate trade, it is expected that stakeholders also position themselves to comply with the Public Health Act and authorities' guidelines regarding the registration and importation or exportation of regulated products. The forum was attended by the Food and Beverages Association Ghana, Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, Association of Customs House Agents Ghana, among others.
The Fisheries Committee for the West Central Gulf of Guinea has held a validation workshop on safety and decent work in Ghana's fisheries sector. The workshop brought together stakeholders across Ghana's fishing sector to discuss options and obstacles to achieving safety and decent working conditions for all fish workers in Ghana. This comes on the back of increasing concerns of social sustainable issues in fisheries within the West African coastline. Dr. Vanessa Jaita from the University of Nottingham and hosted by the FCWC conducted a study examining labor conditions and safety concerns of fishers in Ghana's artisanal, semi-industrial and industrial sectors, and this served as the cornerstone for the day's deliberations.
Our data is showing something like 97% of industrial fishers don't have a contract, and it's not much more in the semi-industrial sector. When they have contracts, they're actually more like verbal agreements, so they're not formal contracts. I believe that is in violation of Ghana's labor laws, and that's really something that needs to be addressed, because without contracts, the crew will not know what they are going to be paid, so they come back and then they find out what they'll be paid.
One fisher, Bright Chai, shared some of the common sufferings of sailors in the industrial and semi-industrial sector.
Our crew managers put fear in the bosuns that if you're a bosun and you wanted to join the union, then you should go to the union people for them to give you a vessel to sail. Many bosuns have been sacked due to these our union issues. A lot of the bosuns now are afraid of the union.
The Fisheries Management Advisor of the Fisheries Committee for the West Central Gulf of Guinea, Abna Sewa Sante, stated that such activities of the FCWC are intended to provoke positive policy creation that promotes sustainable fisheries.
As an international body that is not really a directorate, what we aim at
is to get the government to agree. This is a forum, people hear what is going on, and then the story comes out. It is information for policymakers to pick up. That is the best FCWC does, to give the information to the decision makers. This is what is going on. We need you to act on it.
A two-day sub-regional stakeholder workshop on small-scale cross-border trade for Ghana, Nigeria, La Côte d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, Togo and Benin has been held in Accra, bringing together intergovernmental public sector organizations such as customs and immigrations whose actions impede or enhance the flow of trade. The program was organized by the POS Foundation with support from the Ghana International Trade Commission and German international organization GIZ. A week ago, a similar workshop was held with private sector participation, who deliberated on the impediments inherent within cross-border trade as well as make proposals. Executive Director of the POS Foundation said a harmonized cross-border trade system will lead to the economic emancipation of Africa.
We are one people, Togolese, Ghanaians, Nigerians, Burkinabes, we are all one people. And for that matter, the borders must be planned and harmonized so that we can have one African united system that will regulate the free flow of movement, people and services across board, so that development can come to West Africa and we can have our economic emancipation.
The head of Trade Facilitation and Import Management at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Tema Yeboah, elaborated further on some of the challenges facing cross-border trade.
If you take Abidjan-Lagos corridor, it is 1,028 kilometers by road. But transporters do this road in 3 weeks. In actual sense, if trade was facilitated or if movement were not impeded, they should do this journey in 3 days.
An assistant commissioner in charge of preventive at the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, George Tete, underscored the need to balance trade facilitation with security.
As we do this trade, we are mindful of the fact that we have a responsibility to protect our borders, because illegal trade and terrorist attacks imminent of the state are also a duty for us to perform.
The Deputy Superintendent of Immigration Nigeria, Sheidemi Adewumi, emphasized that small-scale cross-border trade should be conducted in cognizance of the rule of law.
There are boundaries and there are rules. That's why I want to believe that in this 2 days program, we will be able to understand the instances of the statutory laws and powers that are obtainable by each of our countries, and then we'll work in synergy to achieve and attain our goals.
It's now time for some international port and maritime news.
Princess Cruises ship, the Ruby Princess, is drawing the attention of health authorities and the media after reports of several recent cruises with passengers testing positive for the COVID-19 virus. While just about half of all the cruise ships currently reporting to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have recently had cases of the virus, the Ruby Princess has had a total of 253 cases in the past 5 weeks, according to calculations by the Washington Post. According to online portal The Maritime Executive, Spanish authorities turned away the Maltese-registered product tanker Black Star on Wednesday, April 27, citing information from the EU that the vessel was carrying a transshipped Russian cargo. The 9,438 deadweight tonnage vessel was requesting permission from authorities in Barcelona to arrive in port, but was denied entry in order to leave Spanish waters, citing the EU sanctions on Russian shipping. According to the General of the Merchant Marine of the Ministry of Transport, they had received information from the EU's European Maritime Safety Agency, citing the product tanker as part of an illegal ship-to-ship transfer of cargo from a Russian vessel. The Maritime Executive has reported that China has put the world's first autonomous electric container feeder ship into commercial service after a period of extensive trials. The vessel, which was developed through a broad collaboration of Chinese institutions, is reported to be a demonstration ship that will provide significant learning for the future development of the technology. The vessel, named GPHA, commenced its first regular voyage on April 22. The GPHA is reported to be approximately 8,000 deadweight tonnage with a capacity of 300 TEU. The vessel is 384 feet long with a beam of 57 feet and a depth of approximately 32 feet. Propulsion is reported to be by a DC electric system that gives the feeder ship a top speed of approximately 12 knots and a normal operating speed of 8 knots.
Now to some schedules of vessels in the port, those at anchorage and those expected in the coming week, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rate you need to know to clear your goods from the port. We have your comments next.
Here are some comments. This one says, the cabals wait for the exact expiry date for the clearing of the goods without waiting for the days of petition. This is the grey area where the cabals quickly go through the same customs process and have the high duty goods cleared from the port. Carefully examine these areas. This one has a question. He says, please, I would like to know if a national security officer has the ability to determine import duties on vehicles. Hello, please note that the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority is solely responsible for determining the import duties of vehicles. This one is from Kwejo. He says, I would like to know if they have done auction on their cars. If they have not done it, when are they going to do it? Hi Kwejo. Our guest from Customs said the last auction was done in December 2021. And currently gazetting is ongoing for the next auction.
So that's all for this week's episode of Eye on Port. Thank you for watching and thanks to the entire crew. Join us same time next week.